Our story today is about a girl who was only 17 years old, an age full of delicate dreams and innocent hopes. But fate played a harsh game, and she had to marry a man who was 70 years old. Was it merely a matter of compulsion, or was there hidden a deeper secret behind it? Why was she tied to a relationship so different in age, thoughts, and world? At every turn of the story, a question arises, and with every answer, a new curtain lifts. Come, let's discover the truth that is often hidden behind silent voices, the pain silently endured. The story begins on a different kind of evening. The moon was full and shining brightly, its soft light spreading over the land like the glow of an old dream. The village was quiet all around. The wind whispered gently, and the leaves of the peepal tree swayed slowly. It felt as if something big was about to happen. In one corner of the village stood an old hut. There lived Mera with her old sick mother. Though Mera was only 17, there was depth in her eyes, as if she had seen more than her age allowed. She was different from other girls, quiet, wise, and lost in her own thoughts. Earlier, her mother used to do embroidery work, but now illness kept her bedridden. Mera had learned embroidery from her mother and now sewed and embroidered clothes herself. She earned a little money, but not enough to run the whole house. On top of that, there was a pressure from those who had lent money, coming repeatedly to ask for payment. Mira's life was going through a tough phase, but her face always carried a calmness, and her eyes held hope. That day, her mother told Mera to wear a special red dress, a precious heirloom from her grandmother. When Mera wore it and looked at herself in the mirror, she fell silent for a moment. Mother, do I look good? Mera asked softly. Her mother smiled gently. My dear, even the moon would feel shy today seeing you. But inside Mira's heart, there was unease. She felt like someone was watching her from afar, like a shadow was lurking nearby. As the sun set and the night grew darker, her mother said something that changed Mira's life forever. My child, a proposal has come for you. Mira smiled and asked, for whom? Her mother's eyes filled with sadness. For Rais Sahab. Mira's smile vanished instantly. Mother, he's 70 years old. Are you joking? Her mother quietly lowered her gaze. This is no joke. It's a compulsion. Mira said nothing. No questions, no tears. From that night on, she threw herself deeper into work. As morning came, the sound of the sewing machine echoed through the house. Mira's fingers stayed tangled in threads day and night. She sewed children's clothes, embroidered bridal outfits, and tried to buy cheap clothes to decorate and sell, all in hope that somehow she could pay off the old debt and ease her mother's worries. But the lender stood at the door every 2 or 3 days, angry, saying, how long will you wait? We are not giving charity. Mira silently bowed her head, thinking only, a few more days, a little more time, everything will be fine. One day, Mira went to the market as usual to buy supplies. The market was crowded, the sun blazing, dust rising, and shopkeepers shouting loudly. As Mira moved toward the vegetable seller, her eyes fell on a man, an old man wearing a white kurta, shiny shoes, holding a golden cane with a strange sparkle in his eyes. It was Rais Sahab. He came close to Mira and said with a soft smile, Mira, don't carry such a heavy burden. The lines of hard work on your delicate hands don't suit you. Just make one decision. Your mother will live in peace, and you'll become the queen of my mansion. For a moment, Mira froze. It felt like the whole market had suddenly gone silent, as if everything had stopped. Without saying a word, she turned and walked away. But a storm raged in her heart. Her steps faltered, but her heart trembled inside. Every word of Rais Sahab echoed in her mind. You will become the queen of my mansion. Queen, but at what cost? Her mother's life or her own dignity? All day, Mira said nothing. She came home, cooked, gave medicine to her mother, and sat at the sewing machine. But the thread kept breaking, her hands trembled, and a question circled in her mind. Is this the only path left for me? The next day, Rai Sahab appeared again in the market, but this time his eyes were sharper, as if he understood Mira's weakness. That night, when everyone was asleep, Mira sat on the roof. The stars were out, but her eyes were cloudy, and a voice came from deep within her heart. Should I sacrifice myself for my mother? Suddenly, a movement stirred in the air. Mira was startled and saw, in the corner of the roof, a shadow standing, tall, dark, and completely silent. Her heart beat fast. She said, Who is it? The shadow came closer and said softly, I am the one who appears to you in your dreams every night. Mira's eyes widened. She stepped back a little. Mira, the path of your life is about to change very soon. But the choice is yours. Honor or comfort. Mira said nothing. She just stared at the shadow which slowly faded into the night. Now, two paths lay before her. One, Rai Sahab's mansion, a life of comfort, wealth, but no freedom. The other, the familiar world of sewing, struggle, and hardship, yet life lived on her own terms. Mira closed her eyes, placed her hand on her heart, and silently made her decision. It was night, the house was quiet. Only the rhythmic hum of the sewing machine filled the room. Suddenly, she heard a soft, muffled sob from her mother's room. Rushing over, she saw her mother lying unconscious on the floor. Panicked, Mira sprinkled water over her, and slowly her mother regained consciousness, tears glistening in her eyes, trembling all over. Mom, are you okay? What is happening? Mira asked, fear in her voice. Her mother grasped Mira's hand as if carrying a heavy secret in her heart. But words failed her. Mira helped her sit on the bed, and when her mother was steady enough, she whispered, Mira, my daughter, it's time I tell you the truth. Mira looked at her, shocked. That Rais, he doesn't just want to marry you. He's a shadow of my past, an old debt I have kept hidden from you all these years. Her mother's breath quickened, each word seeming to drain her strength. When you were very young, your father fell gravely ill, and I had no money for his treatment. I asked Rai Sahab for help, and he set a condition that when you grew up, you would. She couldn't complete the sentence. Tears streamed down her mother's face. Mira felt as if her heart had been crushed in a fist. She couldn't even hear the words, only saw her mother bowed with sorrow and shame. In the following days, her mother's health worsened. She would faint, often unresponsive, and Mira devoted herself entirely to her care. But one truth was now clear in her heart. Time was running out. One day, Rai Sahab appeared again, calm, serious, holding some papers. He spoke one last time. If you agree to marry me, I'll make sure your mother receives the best treatment, best doctors, best hospital. All I need is your consent. Mira looked at her mother, who was growing weaker by the hour, life slipping like sand through her fingers. She had no other choice left. Slowly, Mira met Rai Sahab's gaze, tears in her eyes, lips trembling, and her heart heavy with broken dreams. All right, I'm ready to marry. The wedding day, the sky was dotted with light clouds as if nature itself was hiding a secret. Mira wore a wedding dress of red and gold, heavy, not just with fabric, but with the weight of her life's decision. Her hands were adorned with deep henna, yet her face lacked the usual bridal glow. She sat before the mirror, studying herself, silently questioning, Is this my destiny? A man so old, my life's companion? I always imagined a prince in my life, someone who wouldn't reach for the stars for me, but who would live in my happiness, who would understand even my silence. But now it seems fate had mocked all my dreams. Instead of a prince, I have a man 70 years my companion. She stared quietly into the unknown future, regret mingling with fear. When the wedding procession arrived, Mira's heart skipped a beat. Everyone was awed by Rai Sahab's grandeur, glittering cars, gods in golden uniforms, and behind them the old, silent, yet powerful man himself. The cleric read the Nikah sermon, and everyone in the room became witness. When Mira was asked, "Do you accept this marriage?" her voice caught in her throat. After a moment of silence, she purely nodded and whispered, "I accept." On the third repetition of "I accept," the nikah was complete. Though people congratulated her, Mira felt as if a heavy weight had been placed on her chest. Her mother came to her, crying, repeatedly holding Mira's hand. "Forgive me, my daughter. I, as a mother, couldn't protect you. It was a compulsion. I didn't sell you, my daughter, but I couldn't save you either." Mira hugged her mother silently. A single tear slid down her cheek. She had nothing left to say. It was time for the farewell. Mira walked slowly towards the unknown path, uncertain of what awaited her. At the mansion's grand doors, she paused, perhaps hoping for a call, a miracle, but there was nothing. This was no dream. This was reality. The mansion was old, walls edged with the marks of time, and inside a strange silence lingered, as if it hid secrets of its own. When Mira entered, it felt as if the walls were watching her, knowing her before even she arrived. The mansion's interior was airy and quiet. The grandeur outside contrasted sharply with the mysterious, almost haunting atmosphere within. Old portraits hung on the walls, heavy curtains draped over windows, wooden stairs creaked softly in the breeze. Mira wore her red bridal dress with soft gold embroidery. Her eyes were weary, her heart gripped by a strange fear, as if she had stepped into a story long hidden. A maid approached, holding her trembling hand, smiling gently, guiding her softly into the room. As Mira settled, a cold gust swept through, knocking a portrait from the wall. She picked it up and froze. It was a picture of Rais Sahab's mother, exactly like the same face Mira had once seen in a dream. She sat in a corner, trembling in her bridal attire. Her breath came in short gasps, heart pounding like it would burst. Fears clouded her mind, and one thought dominated. Soon he will come, the 70-year-old Rai Sahib, and in a single moment he could shatter my honor. The door creaked. Mira's heart skipped. Rai Sahib entered. His white beard glimmered in the light, his face calm, as if he had found a treasure he had sought for years. Mira's eyes lowered, wet with tears, but Rai Sahib neither lifted her veil nor approached her. He simply watched her for a while, then spoke softly. "Take all the time you need. I'll wait. Whenever you are ready, I'll come to you." With that, he turned and left for another room. No force, no claim, just patient. A storm raged inside Mira's heart, yet a strange calm settled in her eyes. Could this be the man she had feared for so long? Or was there another face hidden behind the wrinkles? Mira had now started taking care of him like a devoted wife. From preparing meals to giving medicines, she did everything quietly, as if it were her duty. But the truth was, the relationship between them never became like that of a usual husband and wife. The old man Rais wanted to get closer to Mira, yet he never crossed his boundaries. She was given time. Her silence understood, and the man who once looked at her with greedy eyes slowly transformed into a symbol of patience. One day, while Mira was cleaning the house, she went into a storeroom. Dust and silence filled the room as if no one had touched it for decades. Then her eyes fell on an old trunk. Curiosity got the better of her and she opened it. Inside lay an old torn diary. As soon as Mira flipped it open, she froze at the first page. There was an old photograph stuck to it, a picture of her old mother. Mira's hands trembled, her eyes filled with questions, confusions, and a sudden emergency. Under the photo, A sentence was written, I'll take my revenge. Now Mera wanted to know the truth, all the secrets that had remained hidden from her until now. She realized that if she wanted answers, she had to get closer to him first. She had to make him happy. Only then might he open his heart. With that thought, Mera picked up a glass of milk and slowly walked toward Rai's room. When she placed the milk in front of him, he sighed, a desire carefully hidden for years sparkling in his eyes. Mira said nothing, but her presence, her silence spoke volumes. They sat close to each other. Only the sound of their beating and the beating of their hearts filled the room. Mira's eyes were lowered, but Rice kept looking at her face, memorizing every detail. She didn't speak a word, yet Rice felt it, as if she was saying, Today I am here, not just with my body, but with my heart too. Rice gently held her hand. For a moment, time itself seemed to stop. A cold breath, a warm touch, a silent agreement, a deep, meaningful gaze. No words were exchanged, yet their hearts spoke a language only they could understand. That night, both witnessed to a new beginning. Mira was no longer just his wife. She became a confidant, a companion, a source of comfort, and perhaps even love. That first touch, it quashed years of longing, as if two lonely souls had finally found each other. It was the most beautiful night the mansion had ever seen. The next day, Mira picked up the diary again, but before she could read more, Rice entered the room smiling. In the next moment, his smile vanished. His eyes were fixed on the diary, the one he had kept hidden from everyone. Mira, surprised, asked, What is this diary? Why is my mother's picture here? Rice took a deep breath, as if shedding the weight of years in that one moment. His voice trembled, but the truth behind it shone clearly. Finally, you know the truth, Mira. So listen. I loved your mother dearly. Since childhood, we were part of each other's world. But one day, a wealthy suitor came. He was rich, and I, just a poor boy. I had love, but no means. Your mother accepted the wealthy man's proposal. I begged, I reasoned, but she refused. She married him. Rai's eyes glistened with tears, yet he continued. 20 years later, you were born, and soon after, your father fell gravely ill. The treatment was expensive. Everything was sold. The mansion, jewels, dreams, everything. Your mother was left helpless. Slowly, Rais took a step toward Mira, as if with each step, old wounds were opening again. By then, I had become successful and wealthy. Years of hard work had elevated me. When I returned, your mother knocked on my door. I could have taken revenge, but instead, I asked for your hand. She had no choice. You were her most precious treasure, and she entrusted you to me. Her voice now softened, carrying the weight of pain flowing through his veins. But Mira, everything has changed now. Seeing you, I no longer saw just your mother's shadow. I saw a new life in you. I began to truly love you. In you, I see her reflection, and perhaps this love is no longer revenge, it's my salvation. Mira was silent. Her eyes carried questions, pains, and perhaps deep down a hint of empathy. Slowly, Mira's heart began to connect with Rais. The silence that once frightened her now brought her peace. His presence became a need in her heart. But fate had another turn in store. One day, Rais fell gravely ill. The doctors declared he had little time left. His condition worsened day by day. In his final moments, Rais called his most loyal and wise servant, the one who had obeyed his every command without question for years. Holding Mira's hand, Rais gently placed it into the servant's hand. His voice trembled, but it was full of love and peace. Mira, now all this is yours, my heart, my home. the dream of my unfinished life. It all belonged to you. This man will take care of you, perhaps even better than I did. Tears, tears streamed down Mira's face, but Rai's eyes held a strange serenity, as if he was leaving the world knowing everything he cherished was safe. That very day, honoring Rai's last wish, Mira and the loyal servant were married, and Rais departed forever to his creator, finally at peace.